Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering, what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Whistle Talk. Mike D, the referee, coming at you once again. I thought I had Santa with me, but it's just Mr. Daniel Chamberlain joining us again. Once again, Daniel, what's cracking, buddy?
Man, Mike, it's another one. It's like 20 something degrees outside. It's like the best. This is the first great day of the year. You know what I mean?
No. See, I got to disagree with you because before we were recording, I was sitting outside watching my daughter's state playoff for semifinal for field hockey, and it was about 40 degrees with about 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts as I was sitting on metal bleachers just watching. I'm old, man. I can't do that stuff.
Mike,
Well, see, I can deal with running around and reffing in that weather. I can deal with coaching in that weather. Sitting in the stands in that weather, it's a little cold.
A little bit different. Yeah, man. No, it's been a great week, Mike. We closing things out for the season. We unfortunately lost Friday, which puts us out of the playoff picture. So it's just, kind of back to the drawing board, getting ready to do a lot of self-scouting, and me as a consultant reaching out to other staffs and just trying to help where I can now that I'm not worried about our team. So it's, busy.
That's good stuff. And sorry to hear about the team's loss. As of right now, I'm just got my assignment for our next week. So I'm lucky enough to be continuing on with my venture here in New Jersey as we've now reached our our group finals. No, our sectional finals are this week, and our parochial semifinals are going to be going on this upcoming week. So we have our sectional finals, and then we go into the group semis and then group finals. So we have, after this weekend, we'll have 2 more weekends left. And so as of right now, I've got 2 games on the schedule because we also have a Thanksgiving Day game, one of the few that are still going on here in New Jersey, kind of a tradition lost, but we got a big rival that's been going on forever, and no matter what happens with the 2 teams in the playoffs, they play Thanksgiving morning, hell or high water, they are playing. So got that one still to look forward to, which is a fun atmosphere and fun day to do. So I at least got 2 more games left that I know of.
There you go. That's it, man. I guess y'all will really, you can ref into December-ish, right? I think our state championships are the first or second week of December. So
yeah, so for us, it's the week after Thanksgiving, and those days, because of the parochials, we could have, if we're lucky enough to have an overall championship game, it's anywhere from Wednesday through Sunday. They schedule them around, so who knows what's going on with that. So that's always a fun and stressful week of waiting to find out if you get picked, if you're lucky enough, because now we are week to week basis now. So we are sitting here, Daniel and I are sitting here. This is Monday night, and I'm just getting informed about a Friday night game. So we are literally week to week here. Actually, I think this game is a Saturday game. Got to double check that. I haven't accepted it yet on the website just yet.
Right.
But so tonight, going to dive into some. We talked about mechanics last week, and tonight I want to talk about something that, well, it's near and dear to, I think, everybody's hearts, and that's going to be the sidelines, because I know in a previous episode I said that's my house, that's my office. Stay out of my house when I'm working, and stay out of my office when I'm working. But it's also the coach's house too. And a lot of times it's the kids. And if it's my house, well, the kids are running rampant through my house, as they do with substitutions and things like that. So it's something that I think we kind of really need to dive into, both from the coaching perspective and what your point of view is about us officials being on the sidelines, and our perspective as the officials with the kids and the coaches and all that other stuff going on.
Right.
So it is a very important topic in the referee world, and it's a lot of times, and I'm not saying this because I have you here, Daniel, but it's a lot of times it's something that coaches take for granted, the sideline atmosphere. So something where I want to dive into. I got some clips tonight of some different things, even the chain crew and how important a part that they play with us. And I know we've talked about this before, and each state is a little bit different, but I got some clips with chain crews and some chain and measurement mechanics. But before we dive into that, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the show, do me a favor, hit those follow, subscribe buttons right now. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Except if you're driving, wait till you get someplace.
Do it
Totally
anyway.
free. Helps people find the podcast. If you're enjoying it and you really like it, give a quick rating and review on your favorite podcast application, also known as your podcast app. It only takes a minute or so to say, hey, Mike, great episode. Hey, Mike, you suck. I'm a referee. I've heard it before. So your feedback does help. So anything that you got to say, please throw it out there. And if you're really enjoying the show, share it with somebody. You could take a look at the YouTube channel because, again, we're going to have some more video clips tonight. So go to that YouTube channel at Mike D, the referee, to take a look at some of these clips that we're going to be showing. And last but not least, if you want to get into the holiday spirit and buy Mike D a little cocktail, Daniel, I got to find a way that we can share a cocktail with you, but you could always go to the buymeacoffee.com.
Yeah.
buymeacoffee.com/Mike D, the referee, where it says that you can buy me a coffee, but it's really buy me a beer. And today it's buy me a bourbon. I'm sipping on a little Whistle Pig right now, and I'm about to just cracked open a new bottle of one that I haven't tried yet. So I'm interested. So if anybody out there is from Nashville, give me your review on a little Nelson Brothers whiskey that had gifted to me from family members that went out to Nashville. So we're here. We're open to talk football, bourbon, whiskey, beer. I mean, you name it. We'll talk about it. We'll have some fun. So let's dive into our topic tonight. Actually, I lied. Daniel, where can they find you?
Oh, yeah, man. You can find me on a couple podcasts. The Football Coaching Podcast with Joe Daniel is the first place. Weekly drops on Thursdays. And then you can find me at the Coaching 101 podcast. I do that one with Kenny Simpson. Our drop dates have generally been Sundays. I'm working a little bit to maybe move it back towards Thursday. So when they get out, you get out. But once a week, there's a drop there for an episode. And then you can email me at chamberlainfootballconsulting@gmail.com if you just want to talk ball, throw something there. You can DM me on Twitter at Coach ChamboOK. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are YouTube. Go to the YouTube. Find the YouTube.
That's not it. As I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, this is Monday evening that Daniel and I are recording. This episode will be coming out in 2 days from now, so it will be on Wednesday. So if you're listening to us on Wednesday, well, it's the day after Veterans Day.
Ah, it is. Yes.
With me tonight, we got Lieutenant Dan.
That's right.
Lieutenant
legs,
Dan.
so. Lieutenant Dan with legs.
With legs, yes, sir. So I got to say, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family's heart, from all of my family, my extended family, for everything that you men and women do for us. I truly do appreciate it. I got the Vets to Refs shirt I wore yesterday. I was just down in Annapolis at the Naval Academy yesterday for a lacrosse tournament. Love it down there, and I love seeing all the Navy cadets around campus and just being in that atmosphere. It warms my heart, and being down there for the weekend before Veterans Day. I truly, truly appreciate, Daniel, everything that you've done and that you continue to do by actively serving. And for everybody, You could also become a referee or a coach too. That's the cool thing about it, because we got all our different friends out there from battlefields to ball fields there that we're working with here with Whistle Talk. The coaching aspects of there too. So there's a lot of things out there for the veterans. If you're looking to get involved in sports, or if you know other veterans that are looking to get involved in either the coaching or officiating worlds, hit us up. We could steer you in a direction with that. But once again, thank you to all the veterans that are out there. Appreciate you
Awesome.
all.
Appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, man. I want to tag on to your trying to get vets into the sports. The Soldiers to Sidelines is also a very neat organization that, if you know nothing about football, there's very basic sports, and I'm not just football, but obviously I'm biased, but volleyball and track, and if it's a sport that's played, then there's a class there for you. So check out Soldiers to Sidelines, free for veterans. And there's plenty of classes there to learn what you need to know to be a coach of various sports.
Yes, sir. So there's a lot of different resources out there. So reach out. Don't be afraid. We're here to help, and well, we can steer you in the right direction. So again, if you're interested, or you know other people that are interested, like, put it out there. Let them know. Let's all help each other, because man, you guys have done enough for us. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, please, I will love to. Truly enjoy it. All right. So we got all the fun stuff, the military stuff, the veteran stuff, the America. We got all that stuff said and done. So let's dive into a little foosball, football. So tonight I want to talk about our sidelines, something that we officials really, really, really love to deal with coaches on the sidelines. But I got a little clip here that I want to start us off with, just about how fun and interesting the sidelines can be. So this is from last year. This is from a play up in Connecticut. And you could see the defense milling around. They're paying attention to the huddle, and I got the little circle, and whoop, all of a sudden somebody runs off the sideline. You may have seen this one before. And we got ourselves a nice long touchdown pass. I think it was approximately, we started at the 35-yard line. So we got a nice 65-yard touchdown pass here. Yeah. So this is the fun stuff of our sidelines, and stuff that our sideline officials have to deal with. This one they got away with. Daniel asked before, because we talked about this pre-production. The individual did get. I love it, Daniel. You mentioned it before. The people in the end zone just going nuts for the kid. They're literally coming into the end zone from the almost the stand. Sure. But it's a play that we've talked about the ready for play, and the player did get inside the nines, but it was done in a deceptive way. So that is one that is basically going to be. It should be called as the deception play. Like counter and triple option,
right?
And single wing. So yeah, from the official standpoint, that is deception. From the coaching standpoint, you're like, football is deception. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I think a flea flicker, you're faking a run and then passing it off of it, or play action pass is deception. So
yeah, it's weird how. I guess I understand the spirit of the real deception rule. I don't know, man. I'm always so caught in between the two of those, because you're right. If you're triple option or play action's an even better, really honest example, because it looks like a run until it ain't.
Yep.
Fake punt should be deception. You lined up to kick it, and then your guy ran it or threw it. Like, where's the line? You know what I mean? I'm expecting a thing, and then you do something else. Where's the line at? So, but I do understand the sidelines there can be very chaotic. And with that ref, he's probably could have thrown the flag, probably just didn't. I mean, how many times do kids actually come running out late?
Yeah.
Because where the heck's Joey? Why are we playing with 10? Or if you're Oregon and you play with 14 or whatever, like, yeah, it is what it is.
So one of the things that, as the umpire, I know we've talked about, and going back to our episode last week where we're talking about mechanics, but as an umpire and as a white hat, well, my job is to count how many people are on offense, and then it's the other officials that are counting up the defense. So you'll see us pre-snap in New Jersey. Our mechanic is we give each other kind of, I'm trying to show it on this camera, we kind of just like give a little punch out or even punch over the head. I'm 6'3", so I kind of just give a little punch over the head to the white hat, and he could see pretty much over any other 6 foot something lineman that might be in his vantage point. But we're just kind of signaling to each other, okay, we have 11. So we're always kind of making a quick eye contact, giving that quick punch, or my focal points down on the line, and I can see him in my periphery giving me the punch. So we're just communicating because I don't want to give a punch and him not give a punch, and we have 12 people on the field. So we're just confirming with each other, all right, we are both counting, we both have 11. If we don't, you'll see as we kind of tap on our chest, we kind of just almost like a caveman, but we're doing it with 10 fingers. So we're saying, hey, I only got 10. Do you have 10? Like, we're kind of like looking at each other like, oh. And in that scenario, we would have been doing that. And if you notice, and I'm gonna put the clip back up, I want you to watch the cornerback that's on the top of the play as they break the huddle. And this is why the rule is put into place, because cornerback, the defense, typically they're just kind of milling around. They usually don't typically huddle. Well, they break the huddle, and right there you see the cornerback. Well, they got a almost a trips bunch look going on up top here. Formationally, we got 4 guys in the backfield. So everything that they do as they bring that extra player off the sideline is good, except for the deception aspect, because, well, the cornerback saw the huddle break, and, well, you got the formation here of trips. So he kind of condensed his formation to the trips bunch look, which, again, all natural things that defense does, but he didn't see what was going on the opposite sideline. So that's where the spirit of the game comes into play. And then again, you got a kid running free down the sideline for the touchdown. So, but all these different things are what we're looking at, what's going on the sidelines, and you know, it's difficult.
So let's talk. I know that we're going to get into here in a minute. Sideline conduct, communication, and if we need to push this one off, we can. But as a coach, if that just had happened to me, I'm going to be irate, and I will try to stay calm. But I'm going to be very, very upset that there was no flag thrown.
Mm-hmm.
How are we supposed to communicate that? And is there at any point you're actually going to talk yourself into a flag, or is it almost not even worth having the conversation?
Well, that's going to depend upon the crew, and that's a great question with that one. So the point of you being irate is valid, because in my opinion, that crew missed it. I don't know the background of that crew. I don't know the individual that was on the sideline, because as soon as that receiver came out, he did punch him back. So showing that there was the end man was off the line of scrimmage, but also in the trips bunch look, the third receiver in that trips bunch look was also punched off the line of scrimmage too. So I don't know, again, what their thought process was with that. The way we've been trained is when something like that happens, and what you were talking about is, hey, Jimmy didn't realize he was supposed to be on the field. We're going to let that go until we see that, well, the defense didn't honor it. So that's where, once if that were to happen and all of a sudden I see the DB like point and go out there, we're letting that go. We got nothing. But because the hidden factor, if that makes any sense, comes into play, that's when we're going to have to throw that. And that's probably going to be a late flag. It's probably not going to be right at the snap. It could be at the snap, but it's one that we could discuss. Now, you as the coach, yeah, it's something that we're going to have to go and talk with. As a crew, we're going to have to discuss. In my opinion, we should discuss that one just to make sure we have it right. But to be talked into a flag, that's a tough one. I don't know that you'll get it that late, because as irate as you're rightfully so going to be, if I were to drop that flag 3 minutes late, we always say we're better off getting it right and getting it late than not getting it at all. But now we got to go to the other sideline and have that same conversation with the other sideline. So we've just pissed off Peter to not piss off Paul, and vice versa. Yeah. And So, but to the team that pulled that off, if our flag is late, well, you want to know something, coach? You tried to get something over on us. So, all right, we were delayed. You pulled it off on us too for a second or a minute, and now we got the flag on it. But in the rule book, it is a foul. It's a violation. But that was kind of my lead in to this conversation tonight is, well, how are we going to communicate with each other? Because that's a big thing that a lot of people have difficulty with is the coach official communication aspect. And that's one of the things with being on the sideline we have to deal with every single day. So Daniel, as a coach, what are some of the things, and I'm going to ask you this pre you being on Whistle Talk.
Yeah. So, what the question is like? What are some issues we've had? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, or how would you have handled that situation? Because I know I've kind of softened you up a little bit. I've made you a little soft. But
I always came from a place of understanding, anyways. But yeah, you're right. If it's honestly, I probably before I was on Whistle Talk, I probably wouldn't have even known that was a rule. Deception was a rule, so I wouldn't have, because it's not one you really talk about a lot.
mm-hmm.
It's not one of the fundamental ones about because we just said like everything in football is deception. Like I'm constantly trying to deceive you into putting numbers or players or space, leverage. That's things I'm trying to gain an advantage with. So honestly, I probably wouldn't even know. I've probably just been pissed off at my defense for not identifying that guy. If I was in the booth still, I'm probably, screaming at coach, call timeout because we've got a random player on late, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I honestly just probably wouldn't have known. So I wouldn't have been as mad. I'd have been mad at my guys, not their guys.
Okay.
Post Whistle Talk, now that I've been on here a little while, and an understanding of what the spirit of that really is, obviously I'm gonna be pretty mad. If they have a guy with a great mustache, maybe we can have a good conversation. Is
that a compliment to me or just to you or to both?
To you, and I really have started identifying everybody with nice mustaches and telling them about it before the game. So
there you go. You're buttering them up.
Yeah, man, now I would be very angry, but you also have to come from that place of like resiliency. We tell our kids all the time, be resilient. Like things happen, right? You're going to get cheated. You're going to get deceived. You're going to get the short end of the stick. You just got to kind of next play. So,
but now to turn it onto my shoulders, we need to be able to communicate that with you. So now that you do know the rule and we make a mistake and we had a whole episode on Voldemort, I mean, inadvertent whistles, we got to own up to it.
Yeah.
Coach, we missed that one. Coach, no, this is what we got. I had the pleasure of and I say this facetiously of shutting a coach up last week. I was officiating a game where is a true old school triple option team, flex bone triple option, to the point where they were backside cutting with the backside guards and tackles. And we're talking about Annapolis. I went to Annapolis to clinic with the Navy coaches, and that was what we were running. But now with the new rules on the cut blocks, it makes it a little bit more difficult to have those backside cuts. Well, I had a high-low block, and the coach is like, "No, what are you talking about? That's just a backside cut." I'm like, "Yes, coach, it was a backside cut, but the other guy next to him was engaged with that same guy you were trying to cut backside," and he's like, okay, because I was able to communicate with him of what I saw and why it was a violation. He kind of okay, and then having huddle sideline, he went back and he looked and he's like, "You're right." I was like, "Thank you." Not looking for that approval, but just the fact that I was able to communicate what I saw in a rationale that to a coach made sense. No, he was engaged. The backside cut, I was watching it. The backside cut was there, but your center was still engaged with that guy. And it was a guard tackle. The 3 tech was slanting down towards the fullback. So he was crashing down to the 1 tech and your backside tackle came down. He's like, "Yeah, I got you." I'm like, "All right." So, but that communication thing is huge. And I think it made a guy yell at me. Stop.
Yeah, we're at a place where technology can be a real friend in this situation, right? Because like you said, he went over and watched his whatever his replay system is. I hope it was Sky Coach. Go Sky Coach. Um, but whatever sideline replay system he's using, and he's like, ah, dang it, we were wrong. But if you had been wrong and he came over and showed you, he can't buy that back.
No.
Right? Now, maybe later in the game, he's like, hey, I see you throwing the same flag. We done talked through this once, right?
Yes.
Like I showed you the replay. Maybe, it at least challenges you to challenge yourself on what you're really seeing.
Yes.
But so that's kind of an unfair deal where it's like, yeah, you can be right and be proved right, but if you're wrong, he can't prove you wrong. You know what I mean? So that kind of stinks. But it's just about resilience. It's just about understanding a realism that it's a very fundamentally sound game with a lot of sloppiness, and it's performed by 14 to 18-year-old kids. So, you talk about road rage. People have road rage because you're driving. You're a human. You're an animal that's supposed to be walking at 4 miles an hour, and now we're driving a motor vehicle at 70 miles an hour. We want everything to go our way so we get where we're going safely. It's kind of the same thing here. Like our jobs are on the line. We have, probably somewhere in the 30s of numbers of kids that their hopes and dreams and aspirations are on the line. And we've got to do our best to fight you for everything we can get.
Yeah. And talking with college coaches and stuff like that, and I know at the bigger high profile high schools, New Jersey's not as much anymore, or at least particular areas aren't as much anymore because of the fact that majority of coaches are teachers. So to fire teachers is quite difficult. But I know that wins and losses truly do matter to the coaches, and it could be the difference between how you're paying your mortgage and how you're not. Like,
Yeah,
so
I mean, future pay raises and what staff you can get on board, right? You go win some games, people want to come coach with you. And now we're in the transfer portal era. So now kids want to come play with you. The opposite is you lose a bunch of those games and you're become a sieve, right? You're leaking those players and those coaches and those raises instead of gaining them. So
yeah,
there's a lot on the line when it comes down to the plays. And we talked about last week blind spots on the field and how many refs do you actually have and what all can each one actually see? What are their keys? What have they been given to see as much of the field as possible? But we understand, and we should as coaches, because we teach the same thing. I teach keys and where your eye discipline goes and all that. Understand that not one kid out there can watch all 11 offensive players do their thing and go make the tackle.
Out of
So
curiosity,
5 refs can't watch 22 players and see every single aspect, right? So there just has to be that rhythm. We expect a lot. We expect a lot out of them. Fans do too. But
so here's a question for you, and I know you've coached at different size schools.
for sure.
In your bigger schools in Oklahoma, how many coaches are on staff that are there on a Friday night?
We probably had 20-ish at the biggest school that I was at. I would say somewhere in that, maybe plus or minus 5. So we might have 25, might have been 15-ish. But
All right, at a smaller school, how many coaches are there on a Friday night?
I've been as small as 4 and know a coach that did it all by himself.
Oh, gosh. God bless that person.
Yeah.
But
But an 8-man football team, but
okay.
still, it's coaching. So
And the reason I'm asking this is now at the minus COVID years excluded, where you weren't allowed to have fans in the stand, what was probably the smallest fan group that you had in the stands? And not that you're counting the gate, but would you say it was give or take 50 plus on a bad night?
Yeah, 50 to 100 probably smallest crowd we played in front of.
So the number of coaches, the number of fans that are in the stands, the number of coaches that are on the sidelines. Well, when you got 20 coaches on the sidelines and we've got 5 officials that are looking to watch 22, and you got 20 coaches that are watching the two middle linebackers,
Yeah.
the one outside linebacker, the single high safety. So they're focused on their singular player. So now we've got 20 coaches that are yelling at us about how every one of their kid has been held every single play, and how this kid got cut. And we're 5, we're 6. Now I'm lucky that my game this coming weekend is going to be a 7-person mechanic. So we're covering that blind spot that we talked about last week, but we're at that point in the playoffs now. So that's where the communication aspect has to come in, and not just communication between us officials, but now to you, the coaches. So coming in with all that, it's a different dynamic, and a lot of coaches don't get that. Like, we're trying to watch 22. I'm lying. I'm trying to watch 8, 10-ish where my keys are, but it's still 10 as opposed to, I'm not just the white hat. They're watching the quarterback like that. They've got the easy job when it comes easy air quotes, when it comes to mechanics, because their focal point is on the quarterback, but they've got the 2, 3, 4,000 eyes on them from the crowd and the coaches that are all focused on him, and they all know his name. They don't always know mine. So we got a lot of eyeballs on us and a lot of eyeballs on our individual keys, where we're trying to really bring it all in. So what are some tips that you have for coaches on how to possibly de-escalate? And I know you're talking about complimenting people with mustaches. That's just buttering people up. But what are like some things as a coach that you think people should know on how to, I guess, form a bond in essence?
Yeah. So, I've got to coach with a lot of guys, and I've seen, just like everything else, you learn what to do and you learn what not to do from different people, right? So I can remember sitting on the sidelines, and my head coach, there was a younger line judge, and he missed several times throughout a game, an illegal formation, and it was just how the wide receiver, and I don't remember the exact situation, but it was something about how the wide receivers are lined up. Maybe nobody was on, they didn't have enough on, whatever it was. Maybe they were moving. I can't remember the exact scenario, but I remember they got away with it a few times. And finally, the head coach was like, all right, listen. And he's just, as the guy's watching the game, and he's watching because he's got coordinators, so he's not having to actually call the play. He's like, I want you to watch that guy and watch what and now that's wrong. That should be a flag. And finally, the ref was like, damn, you're right. Right. And so he throws the flag.
Yep.
So I talked to her about talking yourself into a flag, and it wasn't that. But understand that there are young refs, just like you have young assistant coaches who have no idea what they're doing, right? Yeah. There's no test to be a coach. Some people even get a headset, and I was a first-year guy. I had no idea what I was doing. I was a defensive coordinator. So some situations, you got guys that have to make decisions, and they have no idea what they're doing. I'm not saying the ref has no idea what they're doing. But what I am saying is they probably lack experience. And you've already said multiple times, Mike, those line judges are usually the lowest man on the totem pole, right? You work up from there to these other positions. So that's probably even like the newer of the people on that staff, on that team or group, or however y'all name yourselves. And so it's okay for him to be educational to that guy. He didn't belittle him. He wasn't yelling and screaming. Very cool, calm, collective. Hey, man, why aren't we getting this? Coach, I'm not seeing it. And so when next time he's like, that's what I'm talking about. Damn, you're right. And I remember the quote, and he said, that's my job. It's my job to make sure that you're seeing that. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, it's not your job, coach, but it is. Like, someone had to educate him, right? It's like the tail light rule. If nobody knows if their tail lights are out, nobody looks at the back of their vehicle. So
just roll down that window and say, hey, your brake light's not working.
That's right. So he didn't know what he was missing, the coach educating. I've seen the opposite of the spectrum where it's just yelling and screaming and cussing, and I'm talking about from the get-go. Bringing up their previous, I've heard stories about y'all. I expect to get screwed tonight, and it's just a fist fight from first kick to the last time the ball's held in the air. So it's like, I understand mental resiliency, right? Like, some people have a little bit better emotional intelligence, I guess. You got to understand that if you're just cussing, you're not going to get your way anyway. It's never going to go your way now. Like, you've set the bar. I mean, you have to suck up to these guys, and you're going to lose your cool sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
but they're still humans, and treating them such, as such is a big part of it. So yeah, I do find pregame I'm trying to build rapport, because like you said, I've been a box guy. So up until these last couple of weeks, it never was even really, maybe the I'm wearing my school whatever. And so like, hey, that guy from Bristow was, he made a joke about my mustache, or he came over and, we chewed the fat for a minute, whatever. But I'm not even doing that to get a call. I'm just doing that because we're all humans. We're all just out doing a job. We're on a staff. We have a job to do. It's not, I don't expect that to get me a call. Now, there for a few weeks, it seemed like doing that was getting a lot of stuff against me. Honestly.
Oh, really?
Can we not get a call tonight? I was like, sorry, guys. I complimented their mustaches. So, but it's just about having a rapport, just as much a relationship you can get, talking to them about, what game they covered last week. Was it bigger? Was it smaller? And that might build confidence in you. Staff we had 2 weeks ago, the week prior, was at a 6A1 game, which is the biggest conference here. And we're a middle of the road size. So that to me was like, okay, so they've been out, they've done the big games. They've been under the lights, the bright lights. So hopefully they have a little more understanding of what's going on, right? I don't know why it would matter, but it just, if they've gone and handled the big time, the big atmosphere, then ours shouldn't be scary to them or daunting or any of that.
So I remember, and this, I don't know if I've ever shared this story on the show before, and it clicked in for some reason. When I was coaching, I was irate. I couldn't tell you what the situation was, but I was irate with the officials. And as we were all walking off at halftime, and the school that I was coaching at, it was a very long walk for the home team, the visitors, and the officials. Like we all needed we needed golf carts for everybody, and buses for the team. But I remember walking off the field with the officials, and I overheard the officials talking with each other about, oh, what do you have any youth games tomorrow, and this, that, and the other thing. And that just, it triggered me. I'm like, these guys, we got the shit of the shit crew, because they're youth officials. They're not even high school officials. Like, what the hell's going on here? These guys are awful. They should be back at the youth game. And I look back on that and I'm like, what an ignorant idiot I was, because a lot of our officials work high school games and work youth games. And I was just talking about, I got two guys on my crew that are also college officials too. So like we're some guys do it for money, because it does help to get paid working the Friday night games, being away from our families. Some guys do it for the love of the game, which is more of my personal aspect. Some do it for a little bit of both. I enjoy getting paid for doing something that I love. So I get both of it. But yeah, well, I did Sundays. I used to do, before I had kids involved in sports, I would work 6 AYF games on a Sunday afternoon, because it helped pay for me buying my uniform and paying for the flags and paying for the gas for the travel going to the varsity games. So yeah, I did do it for the money, but I did youth games, and I got away from doing that because of my kids being involved. And so that's the only reason why I got away from that. But it was such a, like, hindsight is 2020 vision. It was such a dumb, ignorant thing that I thought of. And I was all over the officials the rest of that game, because I probably got a flag against me as an assistant coach too, because the assistant coaches are the worst.
It's human nature. Like, we want people who have been with the best of the best. And when we feel like they're newbies or rookies or coming up from the lower levels, we do it in coaching, right? Nobody ever wants to go be the youth coach or the middle school coach, the JV coach. Like, that's for some reason.
I want to interrupt really quick. I loved coaching JV games.
100%. But it still probably seemed like a demotion from the varsity staff.
The JV games, I used to draw stuff up in the dirt. Like, all right, we're on the bus, we're going. All right, hey, we're going to run a triple reverse flea flicker play today. And the kid, let's go. I would literally draw stuff up just because I didn't care. Like, hey, Mr. Official, wind the clock. Let's go. But I'm going to have my kids have fun while we're here.
So, it isn't demotion. But anyway, I think that rapport is relationships over everything. I think it's the same way in football too. So it's, You've just got to be able to communicate with these other humans that are just trying to do their job. You're going to get bad ones. The odds are you don't have the worst ones every week, right? You're also going to get some really good ones who are calling things exactly how they should be called, and you're still going to be mad about it. So, just is what it is.
So now I know the theme tonight was talking about the sidelines. I'm going to kind of deviate. It's still about the sidelines, but I want to bring in the chain crew. I want to talk about the chain crew because they're, along with our short wings, they're in the meat of everything with the sidelines, with the kids, with the coaches. Something that we do as a crew and again, we've talked about probably 80% of our games in New Jersey, we have carded officials that are working the chains. Due to the official shortage, we now have chain crews that are not carded officials, but they've worked a number of chains and they'll get bounced around. But we still do have a couple of high schools that have the same three dads that have been doing it for years, even though their kids are gone and off to college. They're still doing the chains and stuff like that. So everywhere, even here in New Jersey, everywhere it's different. So one thing that we do in our pregame is we talk to our chain crew. And this is something our crew does. I do it when I'm a white hat. My white hat does it. Guys, you say nothing. Don't speak. Don't talk to the coaches. Don't talk to each other about something that we screwed up on in your eyes, because there are ears everywhere. But if you see something that we don't see, give us a little help. You could, especially when you're a carded official. And when I was first coming up with in the ranks, when we had 5-person crews, our sideline guys, our short wings, well, on passes would start floating down the field. And we didn't truly have somebody holding the line of scrimmage to know if the quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage or not. So I had a number of guys that would come up and say, hey, listen, I'm gone on a pass play. If you see the quarterback past the line of scrimmage, very subtly give me kind of like a little point that, all right, they were beyond the sticks here that you're holding, if you're holding the down marker. So we communicated with them. But I was never sitting there like, oh, these guys, what the hell did they just call? Because now all of a sudden the coach hears that, or an assistant coach, as I just talked about, and now all of a sudden they're blowing up. Even your chain crew is telling you you're wrong. What the hell are you calling? So it's a dynamic that we got to deal with. And as a coach on the sidelines, have you ever seen guys asking the chain crews for clarification on something?
We've not, but unfortunately, every game is generally just the dads or the local 3 or 4 guys been doing it for a long time, and of course they're always on the visitors' side, right? Because they're always away from the press box. So, it makes for a very weird situation here in Oklahoma. And I've seen situations this year where that has hurt teams, right? The visitor team gets a disadvantage because the home team is running the sticks. In our games, our own home team screwed it up for us a couple of times. So it just happens, and I've never heard anybody asking them for clarification, but it seems like it's for good reason, because they know, like, nope, that's the home team's, that'd be home cooking. You know what I mean?
So I just pulled up a clip that was sent to me and that I know is bounced around a little bit on social media. Excuse me. This was from a playoff game last weekend, and you could see the 2 teams on the bottom of the screen, and you'll hear the commentation that goes with it. So this is a series at the end of the game where a team got 5 downs, and I'm bringing up the chain crews with this because the officials on the field, well, they messed this one up. They had an opportunity to change it, to make it right. They messed it up. But this is also where now communicating with the chain crew and understanding what's going on, a lot of times the chain crew doesn't have the right down on there. And be whatever it is, especially, and I know not just when it's parents, it happens when there's officials on the chains, but sometimes the parents get caught in watching their kids play. And in this scenario, looking at the individuals that are on the chains, they're wearing bright yellow parkas. The one that we could see right now on the screen that I pulled up, he's in jeans. That's not typical officials attire. So I'm gonna venture to guess without knowing. Again, I'm making the assumption, which is not always good, but I'm gonna assume that this is a group of parents that are on the chains here. So the play that I pulled up, it's a third down, and they're gonna run the ball, and they get their first down, but it's a 8-6 game. I don't know what got it to an 8-6 score, but it's an 8-6 game. The home team is losing, and there's less than a minute in the game in a playoff game. So I'm going to kind of let this play, and there is play-by-play here.
Okay. I think he got a first down.
24 Will O'Brien. Tackle made by
So they gain the first down. They stop the clock. You see the referee pointing first down. Chain gets set, and they wind it.
Spikes it.
First down, spikes it.
Oh, man. This is going to come down. This is coming down to the wire.
Sure is. You're seeing the chains kind of get set, and the official's like, no, you can drop the chains because it's first and goal.
I'm sure you can. Second goal from the 10-yard line. I'm going to turn my mic down just a smidge. I'm breathing so hard. I'm sure you guys can hear it. I apologize for that.
The ball was spiked by McAnally. Sets up second and goal, Blue Jays.
We even have the... Oh, that's on second down.
Yep, it's on second down now, and they're huddled up.
23.4
the clock stopped from the spike, incomplete pass.
Second goal for the Blue Jays at the 10-yard line. All right, come on, Mules. They hand it off again. Hand it off. Okay.
Handoffs the 40, Josh Carr.
Keep it tied up. Don't get up, Mules. You got to take your time here. Don't get in a hurry. If you're piled on him, man, you got to be laying there. He took a knee. He took a knee. That ball ought to be running. That clock ought to be running. Yep. Bam. And
so I'm going to pause it here really quick. So second down, they ran the ball, and you could hear the guys in the background, not the announcers, but the background of the press box. Oh, that was stupid. But they ran the ball, which is going to keep the clock running. Now, this is not, they don't have the clock on the screen, and even if it was NFHS, you don't see the clock on the screen. It's when they have the huddle secondary thing where they're superimposing the scoreboard that has the clock going. But on third down, they meant to spike it, but the quarterback dropped down to a knee, which is a dead ball right there. He took a knee, so the play ends, but it's a running play. So the clock should continue to go. So that should be third down, and you can see on the box, third down. So we're still good. But now, here's where it gets a little shaky.
Now, that running play was the third down play.
Yes.
Because they'd spiked it. They ran it and didn't do anything. They were trying to spike it again.
Correct.
But he took a knee. So that was 3 down. So it should be fourth.
It should be fourth coming up now. But
the Fairfield Mules have won on the road. Come on. I see 0 on the clock.
So now on fourth down, the quarterback spiked it to stop the clock. And I'm going to backtrack it and see if I can do this because I'm pulling this off the old interweb here. So
he took a knee.
Took a knee.
That ball ought to be running.
Officials walking up, winding the clock.
Bam. And the Fairfield Mules have won on the road.
And they spiked the ball.
Come on. I see 0 on the clock. Clocks are 0. Okay.
So now you see the guy on the change just flipping it over to 4 after the spike. So you got a spike on first, a run on second, the kneel down on third, the spike on fourth. Game should be over.
For sure.
Game's over for clocks at 0.
So on a different view, I was able to see that there was 1.6 seconds left that they ended up putting on. And now you're going to see the officials, they're talking. Again, our dad's holding the chains up top here. They're all in jeans and their yellow parka. But the officials are kind of circled up here talking, so it looks like the umpire, one short wing. Now the wing that's on the box comes in, and he comes over the ball.
Oh, my God.
That guy's got to be in this huddle.
I don't even understand what happened.
You hear the announcers talking about it. The officials, the 3 officials are still huddled up. You got your back judge in the 5-person game. He's kind of moved up a little bit just to be in the mix as they're still discussing it. Now they come out of the huddle.
No, this can't be right. This is not right.
They spiked the ball twice.
They ran,
then had the 2 runs.
Now here's where it gets even more dicey.
Timeout taken by the Mules.
The defensive team
Coach
called a
Johnson wants an
timeout, so they
explanation.
have even more time to talk about this and get it right.
Okay,
And
let's run that.
unfortunately-
Yeah, we'll run some. We'll be back in a
See if I
minute.
can
You're watching the
fast
Mules on Mule
forward
Nation, part of
without-
RJ Marketing.
There we go.
Yeah. We're going to see what happens here. They're going to line up for a field
Had a
goal.
lot of confusion there. On
Now
the
we got
line.
a field
Not
goal
sold on
attempt.
what happened. I'm thinking.
I don't think anybody up here is.
Unbelievable.
That's good.
Unbelievable.
And that's the game. And the team got knocked out of the playoffs because of that, losing 9-6, or 9-8, I should say. Now there's a lot of time, there's a lot of things, and we always talk about, well, somebody needs to know, and somebody needs to be the crew saver in that aspect. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And when you have the chain guys there, they can help. They can be a part of it, and that's where our sidelines can come into play to help us out. I give the losing team a lot of credit. They took this one with dignity. They actually put out a social media posts about it, and not saying that they were robbed, but saying that due to a discretion in what, I forget the exact verbiage that they used, but they did a very classy way of saying, you guys screwed up, but we're accepting our fate. And the other team went on. So your thoughts?
That's exactly why I don't like it being dads, because that's a guy who the game was happening fast, right? And it, that ref, both sides, honestly, and all of them. You said it was a 5-man group. 5 guys should have known what down it was, regardless of how fast the game was going. That guy was never going to flip that sign over correctly and on time. Heck, he was still trying to get no one was even set up when they when they snapped it and spiked it the first time. So it was very obvious the sideline stuff is about to have an issue. You know what I mean?
And I'm not
it sucks, man. That's you. That's what kind of what I was asking earlier too. Like if I come up and I tell you, listen, ref, they spiked it, they ran it, they took a knee, they spiked it. That's 4 downs.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at here? Why is there even a discussion?
And before the next snap happens, we can correct that. And that's where these officials didn't. And that's why this one
timeout's
stings.
there to even prevent that next snap.
Correct.
And once again, I can't wait until the days that technology catches up and we can show you our sideline replay. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not like, I don't need you to judge a hold or anything. We can take all that out of it. But here's 4 downs.
Yeah.
They just had 4 downs. You're giving them a 5th down that's going to win them the game.
Now, the one thing that we do have here in New Jersey that I don't know, again, talking about, I know that there's people around the country that are listening to this, and we have the dads as chain people too, but we do have a carded official on the clock. And with our O to O system, they're on the clock. Like they're up there. They see it. They're getting paid to change down and distance along with the score, along with running the clock. So it's all encompassing. So if they've got an O to O, they can be like, yo, Mike, what are you doing? That was 4th down, and they can walk us through it. So in this scenario, you got 5 officials on the field, potentially a 6th official up in the box running the clock, potentially, because I don't know how they do it, plus 3 other officials on the sideline on the chain crew. I mean, in New Jersey, we've got 6, we got 7 in the box, we got 3 on the sideline. We got 10 officials there. We got to get this right. We got to get this one right. And this one stings.
None of those are everything you just said is just somebody from the school. We run our own clocks, we run our own scoreboards, we run our own sideline chain gangs. It is what it is. But obviously there's disadvantages. And that's one of them. And you just hope that it doesn't happen to you. I guess the home team's probably happy. They're very happy.
Yeah. Now I this was a week 2 weeks ago. So they did have a game this past weekend. I don't know what the outcome was this past weekend, but I do know that the state that this occurred in, and I'm not going to call any states out. If you want, you can see the schools on there. So if you want to look it up, you can look them up. The state did come out with a ruling saying we're upholding what the officials on the field saw. I don't like that. To be honest with you, personally, I don't like that. I don't like that. If my state did that itself too, and I'll call New Jersey out, like we screwed up the next day. I mean, if you're going to award the team a forfeit or award the team that should have won the game because the clock did run out, I personally don't have an issue with that. And I think the team that won's coach came out in the post-game press conference or to the local newspaper or whatever it was saying, I don't know what the state's going to rule on this. So like they were kind of opening the door to the fact that it could be changed, that like they were unsure of what was going on, because in hindsight, they're like, yeah, like that we got it. We got away with it, but it was upheld and the team went on to the next round and another team didn't. So those are the plays that sting. And that's where our sideline and our communication with our sideline comes into play.
So, we kind of talked about building rapport here. So we heard my side, but I didn't really hear your side. Like, where do you, as a ref on a crew that's showing up, I know there's the common, you'll have some pretty common communication with the coaches. But what should that look like? And if we need to do this first, we can. But I just want to know what does a good pregame conversation look like? What are you looking to get from us? What kind of lets us all go in with a warm and fuzzy, you're not my friend, you're not his friend, but none of us are enemies either.
Gotcha. So pregame, the way that our crew does it, and again, I'm not saying that we are God's gift to crews, but I can tell you from what I know and how we do things. And I think it works pretty well. Myself and our head referee, we go and we talk with the head coaches. Our thought process is we're going to the home team first, especially during the regular season, because we want to find out, like, coach, do you have an extended halftime? Do you have anything going on that we need to relay to the visiting team that wasn't previously relayed to them? So we start off with that, and we go through the basics of it. My white hat, well, his son was a very prominent wrestler in our area. So there's a lot of coaches in the area that know wrestling. So they know him and they know his family. He also works for a company that sells high school rings, and he basically does New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So he's in almost every single building in the area. So he knows most of the coaches and just talks shop with them.
Right.
I coached for 20 plus years. I know a good amount of the coaches myself. So the beginning is like, hey, how you doing? How's the family? How's everything going? And blah, blah, blah. So it's a little bit of small talk. And then our white hat always goes, all right, coach, let's get down to business here. And now we start our referee coach speak. Everybody properly equipped. Anything we need to know, any unusual plays you guys run in formation so that our guys don't get it wrong. Anything on the other side you want us to look for, and blah, blah, blah. We go through our whole spiel, and then we go to the other side. We do the same thing. While we're doing that with the head coaches, our 3 or 4 other officials are walking around, talking with the kids, checking the chains, making sure that they are 10 yards, and doing any adjustments with the chains, talking with the assistant coaches, looking at just kind of meandering and being a presence out there. And if a coach catches their ear, we're talking. Other crews, they like to stand on the 40s and stand on the 40s of both sides to make sure teams aren't going around it. We kind of like to be there, if that makes any sense, so that you know that we're there. We're not getting involved, but if you got a question, hey, we're here. And we have a pretty senior crew. I'm not saying we're old by any means, but we got a pretty senior crew. Our guys have been around for a while, and we got 2 teachers. We got, again, 2 college officials. So people kind of know, and we're presented with different things like, hey, last week this play happened to us. And we're not going to bash another crew, but we're just opening up those lines of communication. And we're setting our ego aside, because, listen, I think I'm a pretty damn good official. you think you're a pretty damn good coach. We all have egos to some capacity here, but come game day, I have to, when I'm wearing those stripes, I have to put my ego aside and say, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to make this game go smoothly, no matter what. And if I have to like bite my lip, sometimes I'm going to bite my lip and not let my ego get in the way and say, Coach, why the hell did you just burn a timeout there? Like, what were you thinking? But that's the way that we're trying to make the pregame go and make that feeling happen. And I've let coaches, as a white hat, I've let coaches vent to me. These guys last week, blah, 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 blah. And my answer was, Coach, I didn't see it. I wasn't here last week. I can't answer to you what they saw or why they saw it, but hey, you brought it to my attention. I'll keep an eye out for it. Like I'm letting them get it off their chest. And if that's what's going to make them feel a little bit more comfortable with me and my crew, I'm good with it. I could take it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna be like, all right, Coach. Well, you're gonna have Daniel back there. He's got the play clock, and you're gonna have John over here, and he's gonna have the line of scrimmage. And if at any point you have a question, because we flip flop at halftime, have them get in touch with me, and I'll come over to you and I'll give you an explanation. So we're trying to open up those lines of communication. And again, we're sitting there, we're talking about, hey, how's your wife? How's the kids going and everything like that? And then come the game, Mike, I can't believe you missed that call. You suck, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, I might see them out in the bar and they're like, let's have a drink. Like we all have to kind of just like deal with it. And I have to take the good with the bad. I've been complimented by people about we're a good crew. I've been ripped to shreds by other people that we're a terrible crew or I'm a terrible official. It is what it is. I'm not going to go and tell you, Daniel, you suck as a coach.
The police, right? Nobody wants the police around until they need them. Nobody wants the ref throwing the flag until it benefits them.
Yeah.
Right? So it is what it is. You're policing the game, man. You're everybody's bad guy, and it stinks, I guess, until you. Especially when big mistakes like that happen. Like, that's hard to build back that trust.
It's tough.
And we have to admit, like, coaching too, like the quality of coaches is falling off just because less people are getting in. Quality of refs is coming down just to the smaller pool, right? Less people are reffing. Football's not a dying sport, like it's on its last breath, but it is coming down a little bit. And so, it's something we have to, when we keep treating refs like crap, less of them are going to do it. And then no one ever gets good at it because it's always just the new guy you can get on crew. And then he does a year or two to get tired of being berated. He never gets good at his craft. So we're doing it to ourselves even then.
It's tough. And like you said, it's the same thing with coaches because I know at the school that I teach at, we're struggling to get qualified coaches, not quality coaches, just qualified coaches because
right.
People are coming into the education aspect of the world and they're not being voluntold like I was when I first started. Like, oh, hey, yeah, we're hiring you. What do you coach? Yeah. That was my interview. What do you coach? Okay, if we're going to hire you, what do you coach? How can you help our school community? And now it doesn't happen as much.
Right. Yep.
So this next clip I'm going to bring up, Daniel, is a game that I was involved in, and this is two very highly ranked teams here in our state. This is a parochial game. Actually, the Rutgers staff was at this game because there were a number of high recruits in the state that were already committed or potentially committed that, in the backdrop, you could see this baseball field when this occurred. Well, the chopper landed about 2 minutes afterwards for the coach to land on the field there. But this is a play where it's an out-of-bounds play, heated rival, two parochial schools that technically can't recruit. And again, I'm giving more air quotes, can't recruit, but they recruit and they're recruiting the same areas. So this is a big game because, if you win, I might go to your school, but if you win, I might go to your school. So, so we got to play. We got quarterback sweep to the home team sideline that goes out of bounds. And then a little chaos ensues. So I want to let this play out, and then we'll talk about what you as a coach would do in this scenario. So quarterback sweep, camera kind of comes off.
Frank Williams on the run for the Casey's.
Possibly a late hit. I see our short wing going in there. Now our white hat's getting in there.
Flag on the flag.
I come meandering in. I'm the last one because I'm trying to periph things. Our deep wing on our sideline is in there, and our camera angle kind of like turns away. But I want to pause it right here. You see the head coach from the opposing team coming over. He's trying to come grab his kids, but I want you to look at our other sideline officials. What are they doing?
Preventing anybody else from coming off the sidelines, right? Don't add to the mess.
So we've seen recently in a college game, Grambling, I think it was a Grambling game a week or so ago. There was basically an all-out brawl that occurred in a college game. We've seen a couple of those instances occur because of stuff that happened along the sideline. We ended up getting the late hit. Like the flag was thrown on the late hit here, but it was a late hit on the quarterback by the visiting team on the home sideline. So it's a recipe for disaster there. So our short wing and our deep wing are like, they're in the mix. Our white hat goes running in there. I eventually am in there. I'm kind of pulling bodies apart here. And we got two guys that are working on keeping the other team from getting involved in this. We're working on trying to get the home team away from where the incident occurred.
Yeah.
We didn't see any punches thrown. There was a whole lot of trash talking going on, a lot of screaming and yelling. And if I play it out, you're going to see one kid comes out with his helmet off. His teammates are pulling one kid out. You're going to see on the top of the screen here, another teammate. Here he is. He's getting pulled out now by his teammates. And his helmet is off, and he's all fired up because people were pissed off because their quarterback got hit late on their own sideline. In a situation like that, Daniel, as a coach, what are you doing? What are you saying with your kids?
It's funny because it's kind of a new school thing, right? Like what was the old school coaching? Like I hate somebody who's going to start anything, but I hate worse somebody who's going to, let their buddy go to war alone. And so I can remember those speeches about, if things pop off and you're the guy that sits on the bench, you're wrong for some reason. And now we've 180'd that, right? Now you're really trying to we just want to play the game. And we've had those conversations with coaches at different points game. Like 2 or 3 years ago, a friend of mine was and they quit. They'd be like, nah, we're done. They were up. They had the lead. They told the ref, end it. We're out of here with a few minutes left, right? Last year, we had a very similar situation, and it was the coaches that were antagonizing our players to the point that our athletic director made the decision we're not going to shake hands after the game. We're just going to get out of here before something stupid happens, right? We obviously are just trying to de-escalate. That's what we're trying. I usually am very quick to get out of players' ways on the sideline. I've had that thought many times, like if a player's running towards you, do you catch them to prevent them from falling and hurting themselves? But then we see I think it was it might have even been an OU guy, but I don't think so. I can remember last year, it seems like there was an assistant college coach that a player's flying off the field. He's on the sideline. He put his arm up and caught him with an elbow or something. And it was just, to me, looked very natural.
Yeah.
But people were upset because he got ready for it, right? He got into a stance oh man. And I think it upended the kid who was on cleats, on skates at point, essentially at that point.
You probably ran into not just an assistant coach, but probably the head strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah. Right. So you don't ever want that perception that you've ever purposely harmed a kid. And so I just the other night we had a kid run off, you just step out of the way. Look, if you fall and something hurts, it is what it is, but I'm not touching you because there's too much perception there.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here, except I don't want to touch a kid and try to assist them off my sideline because it could look, once again, perception that I'm dragging him off my sideline. But we, by God, are going to use our body as a shield and get them out of there. Pushing my kids back. There's no just get out of their way, help them up, send them on their way. That's been taught for years is you never stay down on the opponent's sideline. So if a play goes out of bounds and you trip and stumble and you land, you get up immediately. Right, if you're injured, you can be injured when you get back on the playing field.
Yeah, get
Not over there,
injured
man.
a half yard in on the sideline where everybody can see you.
Yeah. You don't ever want to be delayed in getting off that sideline. So, yeah, man, you just hope that you've got a good enough culture that you've kind of instilled in these kids, like, we aren't going to be dirty. We're not going to, but kids are kids. It doesn't matter how good your culture is. You still got kids out there. Some of them are going to take cheap shots and do dumb stuff. So just trying to de-escalate that and eliminate it.
So the outcome of that particular play is we did have the late hit out of bounds, and then we had offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on each team. So nobody was disqualified. Nobody was ejected from the game. The coaches of the home team did their best to get everybody away. But again, in that scenario, I want to say that team carried 80 players.
Yeah.
And especially because of that game, they brought their freshmen to be on the sidelines for the varsity game. So there may have been more than 100 on a home game on that sideline. So like they did their best of 20 to 25 coaches, as you were talking about on a bigger program, of keeping their 80 kids out of that situation. Plus you had us 4 out of the 6 getting involved and trying to keep it out. Again, I'm going to make fun of myself. I was the last one into that scrum because I was just trying to stay back and see numbers and see if I saw any fisticuffs, because that's where we got to collect the numbers of people that are getting into the fights and stuff like that. But once I saw that it was being handled, I got involved and just wanted to separate bodies and get everybody to their right sidelines. And then we huddled together and came up with an outcome of that. And both sides of the ball were very appreciative of how we handled that one.
Yeah, you got to get in there. Got to get it all separated. I was looking up those 2. There's actually been 2 big brawls in the last week.
Yeah.
Texas State and Louisiana was yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Or Saturday, and it was just after the game. A huge fight. 13 players were suspended.
Oh God.
It looks like for the rest of the season for some of them. And then the one you're talking about, the Grambling State and Bethune-Cookman.
Yes,
Bethune-Cookman?
That's the one I was talking
27 about. Players were suspended.
That one, that's light from what I saw quickly on.
Yeah.
Like for those that are watching, if you YouTube that one's eerie. I mean, it was old school. I'm taking my helmet off. I'm tossing it to the side, and I'm squaring up with you. Like it was not a football fight. It was an outright brawl.
It looks like that was this. So both of those were this Saturday, possibly.
I think the Grambling was last week.
Okay.
I think the Grambling Bethune was last week.
Yeah. So I mean, man, it is a scary situation. You've got these, we got these kids tuned up, and we constantly are talking to them about being aggressive and flip the switch and let's go to war and all these things, because I need you to run through a gap like your hair's on fire, and I need you to hit that guy. So look, if you can cuss him because you hit him so hard, great. That's football, baby.
Yeah.
Right? Now we're not telling them to aim with their head or anything, but everything you do should inflict maximum impact on the other team. Not damage, but impact. We're trying to go run the ball hard. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're outside the white line. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And sometimes they just can't, right? They're still just kids at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's not a contact sport. Basketball is a contact sport. This is a collision sport. This is a car crash. Like
I love it.
I mean, I've been in car crashes. I've been in football games, and there's not much of a difference in how I feel the next day.
I got one more question. I know we've ran pretty long on time here, and it's really has to do with coaches having discussions with refs. There's times you just don't agree, and I personally just think you're never arguing your way into a penalty. So there's absolutely no reason in arguing anyway, right? You're arguing with a wall.
Hopefully.
So it doesn't go your way. Tell the ref, hey, man, I think you missed it. Here's what I saw. Move on with life, right? And in fact, I may have mentioned it last week, but I spoke to a ref and was like, hey, dude, look, we're getting, they're cutting our safety 12 yards downfield or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we Can we at least get eyes on that? I'm not asking you to throw a penalty right now, but can we get eyes on that? And he's like, that's a great way to communicate that.
Yeah.
How much is too much from coaches, from your point of view, when we're trying to argue our point? Yeah, I guess that's the question. How much is too much? When is the line crossed?
Well, it depends upon if you're beating the dead horse, quote unquote. Like if you're saying my kid's being held, coach, we're taking a look at it. My kid's being held, coach, we're taking a look at it. Same kid's being held. My defensive end's being held. He's being held. There's a point in time where it does start to fall on deaf ears. A good crew, regardless, my sideline guys should radio into me. Hey, Mike, coach wants you to take a look at number 33, the fullback. He's holding when they're running toss sweep that direction. Okay, got it. And next time I see a toss sweep, I'm going to take a look and try to find 33, along with watching the play and watching the point of the attack and all those things and see what they got. And there's a lot of times because and the same thing, I also talk to the kids in the middle of the field as being the umpire. I'm in there with the kids. Mr. Official, can you watch 76? He's holding me. Absolutely. I'll take a look for it. And I'm not going to tell them next time it's at the point of the attack, I'll take a look for it, but I'm good. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take a look for it. And I'm going to yes them. And the next time they're at the point of the attack, yeah, I'm going to take a good extra half second to watch that play. And then if the kid comes back to me and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't call that hold. And I was watching specifically for that. I'm like, son, his hands were outside you for a half second. He readjusted, got his hands back inside. He had never once grabbed your jersey or grabbed anything. That's not a hold. You need to fight your way off it. And all of a sudden it's open mouth, insert foot on a kid or on a coach. You're like, okay, but yeah, I'm going to take a look at it. And that's where I'm going to respond. Like, this is what I saw. You got to play football. Like, stop talking and just play football. Like, get going, giddy up. Like there's a point in time where you just got to do what you got to do. And I'm going to tell you, we're not throwing a lot of flags. Go out, play football. If a kid's holding you, well, chop his forearms, because that's the way that you get somebody off your jersey. You chop the arms down. Like I was an offensive lineman, Daniel. I held.
I love it. And all right. I see CD on the screen.
Yeah, I got one more clip to talk about to end our sideline management series here. And I played this one. This was from last year. I have played this one before, but this is my man, CD Lamb. As a Giant fan, I do enjoy watching this one. CD Lamb going against we're at the Los Angeles Rams house.
The sideline can clear things up as we look at CD Lamb on the sideline.
Oh, he's celebrating.
Guys, this happened right in front of me. CD Lamb was celebrating. Jonathan Mingo getting behind his defender. He was so excited he jumped in front of an official, and the official ran over CD Lamb on the sideline. That's where the penalty comes in, and he was off the sideline. He was outside of the box, and so CD's the one that's being penalized.
No, he was not outside the box. I know you're an Oklahoma guy, Daniel, so yeah, I know there's a little bias going on here. I can see the smirk, but CD was celebrating with the guy getting in the backfield, and he was kind of on the edge of that white. And in the NFL, as in big time college, and you can go back to Georgia from 2 years ago with the kid jumping up celebrating, CD got his ass run over. As an umpire, CD don't get hit that often that hard.
Right. It's probably the hardest hit on him in his career, honestly.
Yeah, CD's damn good. I'm jealous as a Giant fan. But yeah, I want to just end with that one. Get out of our house, man. Get out of our house.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those, Mike, with the refs running into somebody, whether it's a ball boy or a coach, or I mean, I've been the coach that was moved out of the way, right? Like the refs running by and push and not a flag thrown on me, but come back, but like, it's your last warning. Like I have to be able to run my runway. So we understand that, and we're constantly, but it seems like every game or every year, more and more people are in that neutral zone, right? Because the players are all toes on line behind the box. and then it was coaches, and now it's coaches and the sign kids because we got signs up, and now it's coaches and the sign kids and the ball boy, and now we need a towel guy, and now we need a keep back kid, and now I guess someone's got to hold my iPad while I'm running around because I'm not going to hold it. Right. So we just keep adding to the numbers that are in that little area. So, we as coaches have to do a better job about just eliminating the unnecessary kids and keep they just go with the players, be toes behind the line like everybody else.
So on my pregame card that I have, I'm always asking, all right, who's your ball boy? Because I want to communicate with our guy who the ball boy is. But I'm also asking the head coach, who's your get back coach? Who's the one that's going to remind your guys, hey, everybody get back? And some coaches laugh and they joke about it. They're like, oh, well, I got two. I got one that's keeping the kids back. And then I got that other one that's pulling me back as the head coach because I'm going on out there. I've actually seen coaches have attached to the back of their belt buckle that little leash that you'll see like at Disney and whatnot, where the other coach is pulling them back, that little bungee wire that goes back like, coach, get back here. Especially today with the wireless headsets. You can't just pull on the headset wire these days because they're just attached to the hip. But yeah, I know that I brought up the CD Lamb and I'm pointing to my screen to my left. I've had that clip on before. But the one thing that I truly do love about that as the official is if you watch the official, their eyes are on the field and they're just opening their hips and they're trying to run with an NFL athlete. Like those are the dudes. And that's what we need to try to keep up with, even at the high school level, because they might not be NFL dudes, but we have some cats that can run a 4.5. Like we need to beat them to the goal line, as we talked about last week. So on a long pass play like that, our officials are opening their hips and they're sprinting their ass while they're not just like turning their head and sprinting to the goal line. No, they're opening their hips and sprinting to the goal line while trying to still officiate the play. And that's what that official was doing. And CD just happened to be the not so innocent bystander that got into the official's way. And, well, go to Madden, he got truck sticked right there.
Here we are. What an ending point.
Yes, sir.
Giants fans.
It's Madden, baby. Oklahoma.
Worry about finding a head coach. Quit worrying about CD.
Shh. Slush. All right, ladies and gents, that is the conclusion of our, well, very long show about Sidelines that kind of deviated in a couple multiple different directions there, but I think it was all necessary.
Yeah, it's good.
Daniel, sir, once again, happy Veterans Day tomorrow. I hope.
Thank you.
Are you working tomorrow? Are you off? You get to.
We'll see. It's Veterans Day, so it may just be a go over and check the food plots and check deer cameras and just kind of have a me day. We'll see.
Attaboy. I'm still waiting for that venison delivery, by the way. Hint, wink, wink.
I got to go get, actually, I may be doing that tomorrow. I had to kill one, so I got to go get up the meat from the processor.
Oh, attaboy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much to everyone out there that's listening. Go again, share, like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Yell at me. I don't care. Just bring it on. Let's go. And go and check out Daniel's sites too. Daniel, once again, happy Veterans Day, brother. I truly appreciate everything that you've done for me personally with this podcast, but everything that you've done in general. I truly do appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me on, Mike. It's always a good time, brother.
Absolutely. Have a good night, all, and I will see you once again next week.